About chat. Hey there, Byron. What are you doing up so late? Hey, Travis and James. It's, as I said to Byron, it's quite late. We're already past midnight, 12:30 in fact. Hey, Pablo, Alexandre, Civil Up, Andrew. And, let's see. Okay, so I've had this board a lot longer than what you've seen I've had it. And it's really starting to get to me. But fortunately today someone did send me the power sequence for the A1708, which is, I printed it out in a nice large format, and then I went through this and converted it into a open board data sequence, which I will show you here. This is schematic. I haven't completely finished it yet, but I got up to enough steps. I have a feeling that where we're hunting is going to be right at the end here, because we're dealing with... Yeah, anyway, we'll see. I'm going to try bifurcation diagnosis technique. So basically you sort of go about halfway through the list, test, see if you've got the details that you want, and then either you go back or you go forward. And hopefully we can find something. But it's a neat thing. So it's sort of like got these 3 or 5 sections. So this section here is to do with getting the initial 20 volts. This here is sort of... yeah, this, and... this, that there gets you, that's S5, S4, S3, and finally SO right at the bottom here. So we are missing sort of around about here. We'll have to check a few things. Anyway, like I said, that's all in on the board view guide, so it's going to require a bit of flippy flappy, but we'll be right. Let's get to it. I also fixed up a couple of other things on the, what do you call it, USB-C meter, which I just see here is not actually showing up. Why aren't you showing up? What? Well, that's just a load of bollocks. That's more like it. Yeah, I fixed up the USB-C meter. It now will auto-detect or check through the various COM ports without me having to tell which one's which is nice. It saves me a fair bit of time. Okay, so we're gonna go for plug it into U3100. I always forget which one's going to be which. Yeah, we all were waiting on parts. Hello, Drachev. Take the glasses off, Paul. You don't need them. And Nick Vasey. Just going to make sure I've got the right port plugged in. Okay, so we've got our 20 volts on U3100. So that part I'm not too worried about. So we really need to sort of just going to work out where to get started here. Okay, around about here I think we'll go for. So we do have that one. I haven't actually had a time to verify the presence of all the correct net names, so obviously this isn't the right one. That there I think is the right one. Yep, okay, so we've got that. And now do we have... So we got 5v5. Above us. Okay. Do we have 3v3 S5? Yep, we've got 3v3 S5. Is Miles still back? What? Well, Miles shouldn't be managed unless someone did it. No, that wasn't me. Okay, that network name is not right. So what is that called? S5 power good. Yeah, see, I've got to change these things by going along and checking. Oh, and that is actually a pain in the backside. Go straight on the SMC. Okay, we've got one test point here that we can use. Travis, you don't get exclusivity on being banished. I'm sure we can organise for other people. 3.2. So S5 power good is good. I know this is rather boring as hell, but this is what you got to do if you really want to get something out of your hair. Speaking of getting things out of your hair, I've got paint all through mine. So let's see that middle pin up there. 3.4. So DSW power good's good. Sleep Sussel. Okay, we don't seem to have Sleep Sussel. Oh wait, no. PM Sleep. Okay, we definitely don't have PM Sleep Sussel. What else is on that? Mohammed? Micro repairs? Hey Keith. What the hell? One 14581. Ah, no wonder that's the wrong. That should be number 2. Anyway. Yeah, okay, well, we don't seem to have the SUSL, and the trouble is that comes out of the CPU. PM Sleep SUSL CPU. That's kind of concerning. Well, I wonder what the diode mode on SUSL is. .45, that's pretty normal. Feeling like a dead CPU now. Feeling like a dead CPU. Micro repairs, this is 1708, 820, 0840, or 0875. Which one are you? Yeah, the 0840. But yeah, the lack of that SUSL is a concern. And that comes out of the CPU. I mean, it does go into here, but since there's no short to ground on that rail, it shouldn't inhibit anything from pulling it up. So is that step 26? Yeah, see if I look here. So this SKL ULT, that's the CPU. And so we have the sus coming out, PM sleep SUSL. It goes into U7800, which is the PMIC. And it's not coming up. Now if we look at steps 25, as far as I know, we've got all the prerequisites, but I'll go back a little further. Maybe I'm missing one of the prerequisites. We definitely have PM DSW power good. So U5000 function, and that goes into the CPU. Kind of leaves me a bit stumped. Yeah, so for whatever reason, the CPU's just not giving us that signal. Hey, Catherine. Travis is always out of favour. He's never in favour with me. Can't have people like that in favour. It's always bad news. I'm just going to check another signal further down the line in case I'm like missing something important here. But I have a feeling like this 1V8 S5G, because this, you need this to be able to produce all the S5G rails, it seems. Anyway, so there's a couple of juicy caps there. See if they've got the 1V8 on them. Hey, Gamejoy. Mercia, I'm not exactly sure what the resistance is, but it wasn't looking at all high. That's interesting. We've got 0.2. That's lower than it should be by a considerable factor. Oh, crap in a cracker. That was bad. I was diode mode testing. Yeah, 0.45. That was not a good idea. Catherine, No need to apologise for that kind of thing. Never need to apologise for that kind of thing. Okay, yeah, we've got nothing on 1v8. Yeah, absolutely nothing is appearing after that sus line. Well, I have no idea what happened then, but OBS suddenly disconnected. Welcome back to me. Yeah, that was very weird. Yeah, I think this is a dead CPU because really up to here, this is just getting 20 volts up and running on the CD3215s. We'll have a look at this signal that. I'm fairly sure we checked that one, didn't we? That's the bottom one there. That's SMC PMG2 enable. Yeah, it's present. Yep. And I'm fairly sure we checked that one there. There's the one off to the side here, but we'll double check it. And that's present. And then that was present, yeah, so everything here checks out and we just don't end up with PM SUSL. Hey horse. Yeah, don't really, I mean I've got some stuff for CPU, yeah, I've got a preheater and everything like that. So I mean, you could theoretically do it, but I wouldn't be game to. I mean, look at, there's just enough stuff there to really get messed up. Plus I don't have any stencils for the CPU. Not that that should stop me. If Phil was here, he'd be saying just reball it manually. And I have actually done that with a 165 board. I might throw this into the ultrasonic as a Hail Mary, but I think it's dead. I think this is CPU death. But at least, actually, yeah, what's that? Let's go to full screen for the microscope. Hey horse. Oh wait, I already said that. Hello. Oh wow, that is weird. That is actually like a manufacturing stuff up from the assembly line or something. Something in the clear coat that goes over it. It's definitely. Let's see if I can push up the HDR a little bit. Every damn time. Please stand by. Oh, that's nice. The goddamn camera wasn't using the HDR setting I had set ages ago. Oh well, fix now. That's going to be a nuisance if I have to reassert that every time. That's what it was supposed to be set at. But yeah, that there is stuck in the CPU clear coat. That is not just some random thing that floated in. I mean, I doubt it's the cause, and I'm sure it's not hyper necessary, but it is surprising to see it. I'm trying to see if there's any sort of other defects that I can spot that may pertain to the issue at hand. Probably not. I would sort of expect to see something on this side here. And there's that little sort of circular dot thing there. Yeah, that's just some junk. It's not a crack. It's an actual physical item. It's definitely not a crack. Like when I run over it, it lifts up. See? It's like a little hair or something. Yeah, just a little piece of cloth thread. Very peculiar. So I can't imagine it's anything to do with what we're experiencing, but it's still strange nonetheless. Oh wow, that's okay. Now the HDR is a little excessive. Yeah, that's pretty much about where I want it. It's kind of a little bit overblown. Yeah, it's really like a hair on paint. It's and at this point, I'm just going to have to say it's a dead CPU. Given that we can't get that, everything, all the prerequisites seem to be present, but for some reason it's not coming up. So yeah, a bit unfortunate. Colossal waste of my time. It's not the customer's fault or anything. It's just, yeah, I'll throw that into the ultrasonic, but yeah, I can't think of another reason yet why I would not be getting that particular signal out of the CPU. And yeah, maybe there is another line that I need, and it's not listed on that great big paper guide or map or whatever you want to call it. I should check that I am getting the 32 kilohertz clock signal. I mean, that is important to go into the CPU, so maybe I'm missing that. Although again, I didn't imagine it would get that far. It's worth checking. Worth checking. Now I'm going to put the multimeter on pause. Unpause it. Speed Augit is the same one. Well, we don't actually have the right frequency, to be honest. That's only 18 kilohertz. And we should have 32 kilohertz. I'm pretty damn sure that's... Yep. That goes into the CPU. Unless I am misreading that. Hey there, Yindy. Open the door, chuck it out. Fair enough, sounds good. Hey, Anton. Anton will be on the open board data system when I'm done. So 1013. Check pin 12 as well. Okay, 12 is on that cap. Okay, that's just picking up general line frequency, like my general workshop. According to... And it's wiggling all over the place. Right, okay. Okay, so that's the crystal there. 1907, 1908, 7. Okay. Everything visually looks fine. Not that that means anything, but yeah, I guess one of the first things we can try is just replace that. But I'm sort of disinclined to think of it as being at fault. I mean, I know on the 1466s, the clock chip often does have a complete crap out. Just don't normally experience it with these ones. I'm calling you the Murray River. So what does the Amara then mean? Like if, okay, Yindi Amara, does that just sort of rather mean you're like person of the river as opposed to the river? Yindi Amara means respect. Oh, okay. I'm going to guess that won't translate up here to the local mob. Because I'm sure the dialect down there is completely different to the dialects up here. Well, it's not even a dialect, it's just a completely different language. And the funny thing is, we actually have two groups up here, at least. We've got the coastal, and then we've got the inland. And they don't necessarily always like each other so much. like like almost every other group of people. Queensland is not liking New South Wales. Oh, the keyboard finally decided to jump in on the action. Yeah, 250 languages, 800 dialects. That's about what I was thinking, yeah. It's certainly a very complicated, I shouldn't say complicated, very diverse. Mark Davenport, what was your email about? I seem to have some vague recollection. I might have, but I really can't be sure, Mark. Give me the cliff notes and what you were trying to say, and I'll try and remember if I have. Apologies if I did receive it and I hadn't duly responded. I'm going to blame the fact that I've been doing house painting. Terrible, terrible thing to do with your life. BIOS swapping. Oh, crikey. I have some vague recollection of something like that. I think I did see it. I'm going to have to go back over and have a look. I'm sorry. What also isn't helping is the freaking fur kids are keeping me up, like, really late. It doesn't help that I don't go to sleep until, 4 in the morning. But just as I'm heading to sleep, the little shitheads wake up and decide, wake up, Daddy. Wake up, Daddy. You gotta wake up, Daddy. Give us some biscuits, Daddy. That's supposed to be 0 ohms, that resistor. Okay, yeah, that's good. Let's see if it's probably a bit warm still, but we'll see if we have any changes on the USB-C side. No, nothing. It's very annoying. Now, rather than me go through the whole pause with the multimeter thing, I'm going to actually reprogram things on the multimeter. Hey there, GD. It could be the crystal, very unusual if it was, but I'll certainly, I'll change all the parts of this device. Maybe I'm not getting voltage even, that's always a possibility. Anyway, I'm going to change the software for the multimeter, so I'm going to drop it out. So GDMA 341. CGD. Schematics. Someone still has not changed their default font size to be sufficiently large for him to read. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is choose a key combo that will let me change frequency mode. I probably already have it and I've just forgotten what it was. Looks like I have got one in here. What is it? Oh, it's F. Okay, looks like I already do have one. F for frequency. That's kind of lame. Let's see if that actually works. Alright, whoops. Yep, it does. Already had it. Didn't need to change a damn thing. Catch you later, Yindi. Take your pick. Thanks for dropping in, eh? As always. BIOS chips interchangeable 1708, 1706. I think the actual physical chip should be. Let's see. 1706, there'll be a 238 board. But obviously you'll have to reflash them. But I mean, I know you know that. I'm just trying to find my board. There we go. So like on here, we've got ones that just look like the typical, what is that? That's a 64 size. I'd be very surprised if it's not. Unless, what's that up there? No, that's just a MOSFET. There we go. That does look like a 64 too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 64. So they actually look like they're the same. Yep. Yeah, you should be able to use them. But like I said, you'll have to reflash them though. Right, back to our crystallization issue here. Right, that pin there. Yeah, we ain't got squat coming up out of that chip. That one's even worse than before. Now let's see. Now, pin 1 is the power on that. Just that one up there. Oh, crap in a cracker. Okay, back to voltage mode. I gotta learn to switch modes because clearly it doesn't happen automatically. Who would have thought? Okay, 3.4 volts. So the chip is getting power. What about pin 11? I should rather say, what about pin 1? Yep, 3.4. It's a little high, actually, to be honest. 3.4 versus 3.3, but we'll just let it be for now. Let's see, 2V9 sys clock on Vout 17. So it's that test point up here. Okay, it's interesting. We don't have 2V9. This here. Have I got the right test pad? Should be on that cap. Okay, that's kind of weird. Hey, Tony W. I mean, there's not much to these chips, really. So pin 12, pin 2. Nothing there. What the hell? SMC clock 12, that's pin 8. Test pad on top of the great big stack of resistors. And you're not getting a naval signal. Okay, alright. Something weird going on here. I'm not getting a naval signal from the SMC clock. Where does that come from? Let's guess it's coming from the CPU maybe? No? Oh, right. Okay, probably yeah, the SMC. Oh. But it's interesting. Okay, from new. Okay, these are listed as clear as inputs, but the diagram listed as an output. Oh no, okay, the SMC tells the SMC clock enabled to turn on, which then generates a 12 megahertz back into itself. Oh, that's hilarious, yeah. SMC clock enabled 12 megahertz. And that's happening really early on. It's like way back at step 7, which is what we're at. Mr. Through, I'm not exactly sure which year. I think, what are they, 2016? Maybe we've just got a bad SMC. Could it be? Could it be? Just a bad SMC. I mean, I was postulating that it was the SMC last night. I just didn't want to believe it. Mostly because in the past I have done SMC replacements on these things to no avail. These are actually easier to rework than the larger SMCs. I'm just not a fan of arbitrarily replacing SMCs. It's not my policy. The test points are really handy to have. I'm thankful for them. It does make it a lot easier. Nothing worse than wanting to test something and its pad is like in the middle of the SMC where you can't get to it. Sorry folks, trying to stick around with the focus here. It's the only trouble with nighttime work that I do is, you know, my focus changes during the evening compared to the day. Okay. I just put a little bit of flux on that to try and give it a chance to protect itself. Okay, I don't know if I've got any spare SMCs for these damn boards. Fingers crossed, eh? Nada. 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 You look like junk. Probably absolutely decimated. Nada. Ooh. Jason Cosgrove's 1708 might actually come into use. We've got another one here. This one actually looks better. This one looks better because it's got a hole drilled into the board next to it. That's going to be totally legit SMC, this one. Tony, that's a intentionally missing pad because the chip itself doesn't have that ball there. It's its keying pad, or lack of pad rather. Oh, for goodness sake, get off there! I had to laugh tonight when I was foolish enough to do painting at night time, and I had all the doors and windows closed and everything, but I still ended up with about 100 goddamn insects sticking onto the ceiling. Not happy about that. Yeah, see, it's missing there. Hey, gadgets. Hey, Victor Young. Been practicing my Chinese again, or at least trying to. The trouble is I'm using Duolingo and they won't let me step back a certain, like if I want to say, oh look, can you take me back 2 or 3 levels so I can like warm up again, and they're all like all or nothing, so I'll wipe it all out completely, start again fresh, or nothing. So not sure which way I'm going to go, whether I'm going to struggle a bit more and catch up again from lost memories, or whether yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we go. I should have, if I had continued on with my practice every day like I was, I would have been moderately tolerably okay. I would have not died when I went to China at least, but now I'm still definitely back on death road. It's just been very hard to find time to practice with everything that's been going on. But finally things are improving around here, so I can put effort into learning things again. Alright, so we need to get an SMC stencil for this. Not that it really matters with this in terms of you don't have to have the right stencil. Anything that matches that pitch and is wide, big enough, you're good to go with. Yeah, it's definitely not a match. Definitely not a pitch match. Is that pitch perfect? No, it's not. That's interesting. It actually drifts ever so slightly off. Cool. Okay, they're out. Find some other ones. Ah, damn it, my stencil's gone dry again. Catherine, yeah, the 32 kilohertz was missing or dubious. So I don't know. Oh, that looks like it there. And this is a 1707, 1706, so this is the right one anyway. There we go. Yeah, there was some dubious stuff going on there, so it can't hurt for me to replace the SMC at this point. Also, I keep that SMC, it's not like I throw it away. And if it turns out to be okay, then, or if it turns out that we don't have a change in behaviour, we'll know that it's probably okay, and I can just use that SMC in something else. Now, like an idiot, I have left my solder paste on my spudger. God damn, you're an idiot, Mr. Daniels. See, that is just old solder paste that's crusted on. It's not even reflowed, it's just dried out. I know people want dried out solder paste to do these sort of jobs, but that's just a little bit too far. Okay, now we've got to find the solder paste. Ah, there it is. Now, Anton, I do agree with you, that should be, but I'm just going to change the SMC anyway out of an abundance of caution. Because we already changed the clock chip generator and it... Ah, fuck. Something got my eye. Jeez, I hope that wasn't lead. Just be right back. Oh no, I've got the microphone wet. Right, hopefully I'm not going to suffer some horrible effects. Yeah, I did forget to test that for short to ground. Sorry, I'm just trying to clear out my solder paste. I'll just reball this SMC and then I can get back around to testing that rail. Like I said, it's got to be done now anyway. Yep, solder blob is bigger than the chip itself. Geez, I'm only using 250 centigrade here and the stencil is buckling like crazy already. Hey there, Walter White. Or should we call you Heisenberg? Thank you, Patrick, for the 3. I'll get me coffee for another day. I know it seems crazy to do reballing at 250 centigrade, but it works. Just takes patience. Hey there, DeAndre. Yeah, it is it's satisfying when it goes according to plan. Not so satisfying when it doesn't. Okay, so we've got pin 1 up top right there. Okay, we'll just... Well, that is not the board. This is the board. Anyway, we'll check that value for 2v5. Actually, you know what, we'll do continuity. $154 ohms, I've got to tell you, that's actually lower than I would expect. I would have expected that rail to be... Actually, yeah, that's supposed to be posted at 0.46. So diode mode... Let's see if it shows up as 0.46, or roughly that. Yeah, that's way low. Way low. You see, the thing is, that is the only thing on... That rail is unique to itself as far as I know. I think. Yeah, it's... Basically, it's for its own... I'm not even sure what that's for. The only thing I can think of is maybe something else outside of here is pulling it down. So what we'll do is we'll get this SMC on, we'll take that chip off and see if that rail pops back up, and then we'll see which rail, you know, it's probably going to come back to the CPU. It's going to come back to the CPU is pulling it down. Hey James Edwin. Yeah, the chip generates its own T5. It's kind of like on the older ones. Sorry, just... See how frickin' far off I am on this SMC. These ones are actually harder to put down simply because you don't have much of a go. Okay, that's pretty close. That's going to work. Why don't I use weak copper balls? Do you mean low temperature? This is low temperature. This is leaded solder compared to lead-free that the rest of the board's using. What do you mean pre-made ones? Yep, make sure that doesn't fly away. Come on, pull yourself. I feel like you're kind of stuck there, buddy. That doesn't feel right. Yeah, maybe it is. Why didn't I wick? Oh, you don't. I cleaned off the excess, and then this, because I used leaded solder to do the clean off, it means when I put the stencil on and then do the reball with the stencil, it's the same substance. So yeah, you don't have to worry about, like, if there's already a little bit on the pad, then it just means the stencil doesn't have as much paste in it, but in the total summation, it comes out fine. Alright, so we're gonna pull this chip off and see what happens, although we can't. God damn it. I know it looks like that pad there isn't connected, but it is. Ah, Walter White, it has been a long time since you've been here. Yeah, we've had the house now for 18 months, purchased. We ended up buying it for 180,000, and I've paid off 90 so far. But the next 90 might take a little bit longer because we're doing renovations on the house, and that always just sucks the living daylights out of your income. I'm going to test the diode modes around the rest of it. So we can see all our diode modes here, so we can just see what they come up like. Yeah, DeAndre, it goes quick. It goes real quick. So certainly, you know, TV9 sys clock, let's see what it's like now. What, now you're saying open? Oh yeah. Let's swap the leads around. Yeah, 0.13, way low. That should be 0. Yep. And that'll be 0. What about this one? 0.45. Yeah, so that's way off. That's 1.2. That's extremely open, that one. And that's way off too. Oh no, I was right. Yeah, I'm supposed to use red to ground. Oh, brain. Jesus, brain, what's wrong with you? Okay, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. That's close. That's not. Let's see, what do we got here? Ground, 0.46, 0.45. Yep, that's good. Yep, that's good. 0.36 down here, close enough. 0.04 for this one down here. Yep. 430. Close enough. 3.5. Yep. 4.5. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so basically everything is fine except for that cap. Well, I guess we'll replace the cap. Very strange if it is the cap. That would have to be the most unusual cap failure I've seen in a long time. Yeah, we took the clock chip directly from another board of the same type. Like I said, it'd be very, very unusual if this cap was a dud. Then again, you never know. Tony, just no real sleep lately, mate. No real sleep lately. Okay, what do we got now? Ow, we got hotboard. 0.38. The cap? Seriously? The cap? How the hell? That makes about as much sense as... Oh look, someone's stolen the cap from that one. What are the chances? Hey, Gavin Brown. Yeah, you made it. It kind of helped that I was up late. What? And that cap... What is this? This is like... This is a nightmare hero. Paul can't find the cap he wants. Okay, what cap are you? 2.263201. Let's just go get a nice, fresh, healthy one. 201 caps. 201 caps, that's a belief. Ah. Danke. Okay, what was it? 2.263. 2.263. Fresh packet too, never been opened. Yeah, I guess let us first see if the behavior changes when we put it back on. Because sometimes, yeah, because the board was hot. So I'm just going to check now that it's cooling down. .44, it's getting closer to where it's supposed to be. God damn it, Jason Vilmer, you and your stupid tiny pencil tip soldering tips. Actually, they're very good for when you're working on iPhones. Sometimes you just don't quite have enough heat though for the MacBooks. But I stick with it anyway. Now, while it's hot, see how it goes. So 0.14 or whatever it was is what we were having before. 0.33. Oh my god. Could it be that we actually had a partially failed cap? Is it in here somewhere? Could have sworn I dropped it in here. Do not tell me I lost that cap. Oh wait, no, there it is. It just ended up in the wrong compartment, that's all. That's showing open line. Oh no, wait, there we go. We've got a cap that reads 120 ohms. Harold, how's it going, Harold? We've just discovered a cap that is a partial short. It's 120 ohms. Ooh, nearly lost it. That is very unusual for so many different reasons. So now that's proper again. You're in Iceland? Okay. That's different. That's very different. Just what, visiting or something like that? Alright, well. Big moment. Let's see if this works. Let's see if we get something other than 20 milliamps. Oh, now we've got nothing. Oh no, I've got 600 milliamps. It's just, yeah, this is booting. Unfortunately, the meter got screwed over by... Okay, that's better. The switching on and off of the extractor fan screws up my system. Let's see how we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yep, 500, 600. It's booting. Can you believe it? That cap. One little clock chip cap. I would never have picked that. I got to tell you right now, that is definitely was not on my list of possible causes. Not on my list at all. In this case, we got lucky, I suppose, for the fact that I had that, yeah, although it wasn't directly responsible, you know, having this sheet, it at least gave me some guidelines, and then I knew where to stop and then backtrack and check things. So yeah, it's amazing. Oh man, YouTube shouldn't... Oh, thank God, YouTube didn't... I was worried, DeAndre, that you were getting blacklisted by YouTube then. Okay, I'm just going to put the heatsink on. It's not properly on. But I want to see this thing actually boot in the chassis. I deserve that. We all deserve that. Mostly me, though, because I did all the hard work. Yeah, Micromage, look, I honestly was... Tonight, if I hadn't have solved it, it was going to go in the pile. But the main reason I kept pushing on this one is because the particular person that sent me this job has sent me 2 other jobs, and they also have been just absolute nightmares. And I guess you sort of expect that when the jobs you're getting are coming from someone else who also does board repairs. And so if they're like, you know what, I can't find this fault, and you follow along, then it's... yeah, I should have seen that one coming. Anyway, so I desperately wanted to get at least one of them working. Can you demonstrate your FLIR cam? Wait, what? You talking about the FLIR 1 Pro that I have, or are you meaning something else? Because I don't have another one yet. I haven't even started doing the prototyping of my own one. Perseverance, yeah, it's sort of paid off. It sort of hasn't really. This is a good example, perhaps, of almost falling for a sunk cost fallacy. I think what also made this one particularly tricky is the fact that we had lots of water damage over here on the CD3215s and things like that. So I was looking for things that related to water damage. How the hell the clock chip capacitor, and remember that capacitor is off on its own. That just powers the clock chip internally, whatever it's doing. I think it's to give a bit more swing on the crystal. Anyway, for whatever point or purpose that 2v9 rail has, it's independent of everything else, and yet somehow that cap died. So you can see why it really wasn't on my radar as a possibility. Another chip that I just put in there. And why I'm a bit stunned by the fact that it ended up being that. Do I charge a higher rate fixing board someone else's? Yes and no. Depends on a few things. Hey Tony W, I have not even spun up that CNC machine. The CNC machine is sitting there rotting in the sun. I want to get stuff done with it, but it's just not happening at the moment. Like I said, I'm renovating the house. Yeah, I don't get enough sleep. All those sort of things, they're just piling up on me. And experimenting with the CNC machine, as useful as it could become, I just don't have time for it at the moment. I want to, because I know there's some various tools and jigs that I want to make, but it's just not happening. And at the same time, I'm also thinking I need to get a 3D printer now that I've got like these USB-C meters. I want to start trying out various cases or options for it. I had to plug that one in there because that's the keyboard. I'll just plug that one in as well. That's a speaker. Not that it's needed, but... yeah, the thermal compound will get replaced after I've ultrasonic this. Right now we're just booting it to see if everything comes up. And then I will take it out, ultrasonic it tomorrow. And then when it's done ultrasonicking, it will get its nice, clean paste installed. Okay, I'm just looking for this stick here. Now, this particular machine should still let me boot to an alternate source. We're booting. We're certainly taking power. We don't know if we're booting yet. I just assumed we were. We may not be out of the woods yet. Where are we going? Come on. Okay, we've got a caps lock. Oh, we've got a display. Apple logo. I was probably resetting the SMC. Now we've got to actually see it boot. Get that brightness up too. It's getting there. It may take a little while. Oh, we don't have a fan spin yet. Yeah, Andrew, actually, I've still got those keys around somewhere. They're in my little container with all my other Hacko stuff, like, the hot tip grip pads and things like that. Alright. Let's see, does the keyboard work? Yes. Okay, battery's at 1%, so that would have been slowing it down. This is my own test system. So now we actually need to see if it charges. So it looks like the charge current is kind of maybe possibly picking up. Harold, are you still there? Harold, I don't know if you've seen the new USB-C meter that I've been producing. It's a bit different to your diagnostics thing though. Hi Chad, I'm trying to fix this machine and we actually did. So right now we're waiting to see if we can get charge current. It's poking over it. It could be transitional though. I just want to... yeah, Harold, this is... yeah, I don't know, it's going to show it up, but... yeah, there we go. So that's what they are. This is just the first sort of prototype spin. So you see the electronics in the back there. The new versions that I've got coming in have better mounting holes and the USB-C ports are on the same side. Just things like that. Hopefully it'll work out. Oh, there we go. There's the charge current. There we go. Going uphill now. Yeah, the main reason I did this, Harold, was because I really wanted to have the USB-C port charge current and voltage on screen like this. The other nice thing I found, of course, is I can plug basically anything into it, like Android phones, iPhones, anything that connects to USB-C for power. It shows up and works on this now, so I'm quite happy about that. Curious how it will work with a switch. I don't have a switch, so I haven't tried one, but I can't see why it wouldn't work with a switch. Why is the fan not spinning though? Yes, Gadgets Clink, I did. Yep. Okay. Okay, Wi-Fi is working. No, we don't have a fan spin yet, but let's run Valley, and that will probably force it to do so. Firephone, yeah, it is primarily a PD system, PD meter. It passes CC1 and 2 through as well as the data yeah. The only downside with the design I've got there is that the input has to be on one, yeah, you got to turn it one side or the other to make sure it's going through. That's just because I didn't want to route the full 24 pins. Gadgets Clink, I'll be selling them. So, there. The fan's not spinning yet. Temperatures are abnormally low. It could be not bringing it up to high speed simply because the battery is no good yet. It might be waiting for the battery to get up to a few percent before it starts pushing it. Yeah, so these are my duds, but I've got another 20 of these coming to do the next batch of testing. And then once the testing's good, I will look at getting them, mass produced into production so people can buy them. I said, does this mean you can't use a Mac without an internal? You can, but it doesn't. They don't always work so well. They do want their battery to before they'll improve the performance of themselves. It may be because they want to ensure that if there is a high demand from the CPU or the GPU, like an instantaneous demand, the battery should be able to deliver the energy required faster than what, say, the power supply can. So I suspect that's their reasoning, that's all. Did the fan spin when it booted? I don't know, I can't remember. I don't think so. Yeah, as Anton says, it'll be a while. We're still only showing 0%. We should be starting to tick up a percent or two. Let's see. It's got 90% overall life. Charge current charge 0 milliamp. That's weird. I don't know whether that's old data or it's just... We'll just close it and see what happens to the USB-C current. It's at 85 watt. If after a minute it's still doing 2.6, 2.7 amps, or anything over 500 milliamps, then we know it's definitely charging. It's just a case that the battery hasn't caught up yet. That or it's burning off the heat somewhere. 80 watts of heat somewhere. It looks to me like it's definitely holding that charge. But gee, that was a hell of a process trying to find that one buggered cap. Interestingly enough, diode mode would have found that, but only really if you're looking for it, because it was high enough that that would not have registered as a short. So 120 ohms, if I went over that board and tested all the test points, that would not have come up as, like if you're in continuity mode, it would not have beeped. So you would have just gone straight over that. I'm fairly sure it should be working fine. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes. So we'll just sit here and waste your lives chit-chatting at 2 o'clock in the morning. You hook this up to your bench part. Now, Firephone, this is being powered by the genuine Apple 85 watt USB-C brick. And then what happens is, like, this one here is from the Apple USB-C brick, and then that goes into another Apple cable. The black cable takes the data off to the PC. So I know that you can get USB-C meters with Bluetooth interfaces and things like that. I hate them. I just do not bring Bluetooth to me when it comes to trying to track and log transactions of what's going on with your equipment. It's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, I'm just using serial port off this device into the PC, and it tracks and logs everything for me. Also, I really don't know why that cat failed, to be honest. It's nowhere near where the liquid damage was. Liquid damage was all over in this section here. And that cap is way over here. So, goes to show that weirdness can definitely happen. Yeah, this is definitely charging the battery. I'm just feeling the cells. There's no puffing in the cells. and I think it only had like 74 cycles on it. Okay, we're at 5% now. Magic. Haha. Okay, and coconut's showing up now, and it's showing the charge current as well. The specs for the charge current are wrong. It's saying it's only getting... Oh, okay, I misinterpreted. It says current charge, and what it means is how many milliamp hour are in the battery right now, as opposed to how many milliamps being like what the rate of charge is. So that's where I was mistaken. And it's saying charging with 45 watts. So yeah, that's all good and working. Well, Anton, they won't be Apple branded caps, that's for sure. Not sure. It's just weird. It's just weird. That's all I can say. It definitely goes down in the books. At least now we have a new data point for the wiki. So if you're only seeing 20... This is going to be a problem actually with this new USB-C meter that I'm running, is that it is showing 20 milliamps, but I know if I plug this one in, it will show 0 milliamps. So most of the wiki data is based on what people see on these things. So when they list 20 volts, 0 milliamps, you don't know. It could actually be 20 volts, 20 milliamps, like what we were saying. Anyway. Is your GUI for the multimeter still have Bluetooth? Oh, it's all USB serial. The multimeter, the power supply, and the USB-C, they're all serial. The compass switch that's used for controlling the scene switching when I move the microscope back and forth, that's on I2C. I'm thinking I could put that as a serial device as well, but it works under I2C. I may remake that, but nah, stuff it. I'm not going to do that. It works. Tony, yes, I do intend to revert back. I just need to get a appropriate stand that will allow me to mount the camera further out from the wall. At the moment, I can't get any further than about 600 millimeters from the wall, or 2 foot, whatever you want to call it. And I need it to sort of come out to about 1 meter. So I'm short by about 400 mil, so that I can do the normal look back. I've got the holes in the wall, block wall, but I've just got to get myself the poles set up so I can do it. Okay, now let's see if we can get a fan spin by... We're up to 9% now, so we can definitely run Valley. Let's see if we can finally get a fan spin. It's actually surprising it's staying as cool as it is, given that I only use the existing smidges of... Okay, we're doing almost 50 frames per second. Still no fan spin. Here we go, we're getting up there now. 70... 80, come on, you can do it. Stop cooling down. 80. And the fan is spinning, so that's good. Yep, I can smell it's cooking now. So, did you repair your capture device? No, I did not. I've actually got to send it back. I'm running a Blackmagic unit at the moment. This here is the one that I really want to be running. This is the Aja, whatever you want to call it. This is the Kony HDMI 4-port. It's a very good card when it works, but something is not right with the way they do their firmware. I don't know, but it's got to go back to the factory again to get reprogrammed. It's very frustrating. I wish they'd just tell me how to reflash it myself, but they're not going to do that, of course. And in the meantime, I'm just running the Blackmagic card. There's nothing really wrong with the Blackmagic card, but I do prefer to still be using that one there. Yeah, I know how it should be pronounced I squared to I squared C, but I'm one of the people that decides to call it I2C. And there's nothing anybody's going to do about it. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. We're all going to have to agree to disagree here. Okay, let's check the keyboard. Ooh, it actually feels pretty good, this one. This is a very new machine by the feels of it. Okay, escape. Yep. Space, yep. Yep. Okay, all the keys are working fine. Gustavo, yeah, most of my projects all use AVRs. I'm going to start trying to use the 14... Well, they got... there's a new series. I've got like the 14 series, 14.2, 14.8 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I was looking at them, they've got like 10 or 12 pins on them, which is nice. So they've got more pins than the tiny 13s, tiny 45s and things like that. But they're still very cheap without me having to go up to, say, a tiny 48 or a mega 48. So it's a good compromise. Yeah. And the nice thing is the programming language, the programming style is all pretty much the same. Okay, that's good. Yeah, can't fault this one. It's pretty much done now. Hallelujah. I suppose I better check the face cam. No camera available. Oh, shit. Alright. Well, it's not 100% working then, is it now? I wonder if they had a screen replacement done. Yeah, I'm not sure why no camera is showing up. So... Camera. No video capture devices were found. Uh-oh. Yeah, it is fairly common on the particularly 1708. I'll have a look at it later. I'll boot into their system later and see if it also maybe brings it up. U1900 does have some... It does, yes, there is one clock going off to the camera. Sysclock 32 camera BT app. You're talking about this line here. And then, of course, there's this one here. So maybe it was like an indirect thing, a coincidental indirect. I don't know. The FaceTime detect. No, it's showing no camera at all. And it's kind of interesting. I will check with them. So it looks like actually there's 32K to the camera, there's 24 megahertz to the camera, and then there's... Yeah. Definitely weird. Okay, did I shut that down? Did I just shut that down, or did that just shut down on its own? I did? Right. Phew. Thanks. Genuinely did not know. I genuinely did not know. Okay, what I'm going to try to do here before I go to sleep is I'm going to put their SSD in and see that it actually detects and boots. If their SSD does not, then there may still be some clock issues. Wow, I'm really falling asleep here. Wondering where I put that screw. Yeah, that's definitely pushed in properly. Okay, obviously I cannot show you the screen. Okay, Apple logo. I'm just going to check something. Yeah, just click. That is really weird that you have that intermittent T2 DFU situation. I guess it could just be a failing T2, progressively failing. I've got one here that seems like it's gone beyond that, as in it's mostly now constantly failing. Okay, I'm not showing anything on screen here. Nor login. What the This thing just went to log in and then it stopped logging in. Fan's spinning. Got no cap locks. No, the battery's connected. Interesting. Got nothing. Diddly squat. It's possibly a bad SSD. It's certainly not outside of the realm of normal. But what was weird is that it didn't even give me a boot logo. I suppose that makes sense if the SSD is cooked off. Let's try to boot back into this one again. Oh crap, forgot to hold down the Option key. Too late now. Anton, the thing is, it did actually boot to the user login, and then I logged in, and it pretty much finished logging in, and all of a sudden it went bleh and killed the screen. This is definitely running, but now it's screen... Oh. Is this going to be bloody... No, it can't be Flexgate. See what it's up to. I don't know what it thinks it's doing. Clearly there's other issues on this board. Or at least it seems that way. I mean, we used to see the SSD SMC firmware issues with things like 165 versus the 3437, where you'd get the scenario with a new APFS that wouldn't be readable. I don't know what it's doing right now. Just sitting there hanging on that Apple logo. At least I can actually tell using looking at the USB-C meter. I can tell when it's actually powered itself off because you can see the current takes a dive. Something very weird. Like it should be at least giving me boot options, give me nothing. Nothing. I'll get my test 1708 drive, which naturally is not in my SSD pile. God damn it. Why the hell not? That's just fantastic. Normally I have a SSD drive specifically for the 1708 for me to test. It's, a known working one. But naturally my absolute crap fest of a workshop has decided to hide that from me at this point, at a time when I could really do with it. Bastard. Try the original SMC. It is worth a shot, yeah. I'm also going to just pop this off. I'm just going to leave this disconnected and see what happens. Have a look at that screen connector. There's a tiny smidge of blue crap down there. I doubt that would have been causing anything because it's got two other surfaces to contact with. Okay, that's fine. Connector itself seems fine. There doesn't appear to be any indication of the dreaded, what do you call it, flexgate. The other possibility is the keyboard itself is becoming faulty. I mean, it did have liquid damage in it. If I could find my test drive, because obviously I don't want to use the customer's drive. If I find my test drive, then I can put it in there and just reinstall macOS and let it update the SMC again. Yes, Kodak, we did. The fact that it's booting. Okay. Just going to have a look at the details of why it's a CPU machine check architecture, error dump. Oh, it's just giving me a dump, that's all. It's not really going to give me anything useful there. Weird, it's jamming up there. It's locked it completely. I think the camera is faulty in this. It's completely locked the system when I tried to talk to the camera. I think it's faulty. Yeah, did not like that. Well, here we are. I know what we can do. I know what we can do. God damn, as if I'm not staying up late enough. It is. I'm going to put this into my test chassis. And that will at least let us know whether we have a board issue or whether we have a chassis issue. Man, the person's going to be livid if it's a chassis issue. And if it shows up as a board issue, then I will wait until I've ultrasonicked it to see if it persists or not. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, Lordy. Nope, that's the 2159. 2159 is not the same as the 1708. 1708. Everything was working hunky-dory fine until I decided that I want to have a look at that camera. Oh, right there. Yep, it's their camera. Their camera is the one that's a problem in their screen. Oh, wait, no, it is my... Oh, I got cocky. God damn it. Okay, so something intermittent going on. Alrighty. What I'll do is I will ultrasonic this and then we will take it from there. Because at this point I don't know what's messing with what. Someone left the goddamn battery connected. Fortunately, I'd already taken the data link off, which shuts everything down. Yeah, I need to sleep on it. Yep. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. At least we actually got the board running. Now we've just got more problems to deal with. Over one out of the frying pan into the fire, it seems. But yeah, I'll give it an ultrasonicking tomorrow because a lot of the activity happens up here at this camera chip area, and that's got a lot of flux and junk around it. So it's quite possible it's been influenced by that. So I'm out of here. You take care. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.